thank you for being here today. I'd like to first ask for your name and what you do in Baltimore, your history here.
Sure. My name is Jody Landers. I'm a lifelong Baltimore resident. I live in Northeast Baltimore. I served for 2 terms in the Baltimore City Council representing the 3rd Councilmanic District. And I've been involved in residential real estate for more than 35 years in the Baltimore area. I spent almost 15 years as the executive vice president of the Greater Baltimore Board of Realtors. So I've been very, very involved in community work, in real estate, and in civic affairs.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much. It sounds like you have a ton of experience in a bunch of different areas. So I'd love to get your thoughts on the proposed redevelopment at Harbor Place by MCB Real Estate.
You know, when this proposal first surfaced, I really didn't take it seriously because I didn't believe it had any legs. I didn't believe it would be taken seriously. And then when it got to the point where it was, I thought, you know, we better take this seriously because there's a group of people here who are ready to essentially violate the public trust and take away public space that the citizens of Baltimore have come to enjoy for the past 50 plus years. And I really do see it as a violation of public trust. I remember I voted in that referendum when Harbor Place was first approved.
Oh, wow. Back then you were actually, wow.
We were told at the time, look, there are serious limitations on how much this can expand. We're putting height limitations on. This will only be for commercial type uses that are open to the public, meaning restaurants and retail space. And now we're being told, oh, we're going to change that. We're going to eliminate the height restrictions. And instead of having uses that are open to the public, we're going to create private spaces on top of a public open space. And that's why I say it's a violation of public trust. I cannot believe that the proposal has gotten this far. And, you know, if a place like Harbor Place cannot be successful in the inner harbor, which is close to dozens of tourist attractions and already has 17,000 residents living in the census tracts right around it, how is the addition of 1,000 private condo units going to make a difference in the success of this commercial venture? I just don't believe it. And I think it's really tragic that the city council and the administration did not invest some money in analyzing what caused the Harbor Place to get to the point it is today, as opposed to just saying, oh, well, here's somebody that's got a great proposal. We think it's wonderful, let's go with it. When they really don't have a clear understanding of why the Harbor Place is suffering today.
So you don't see the studies that usually go along with something like this?
You don't see the studies, you don't see the public oversight, you don't see the competition, you know, and I really believe that they're selling the citizens short. And I can understand why the private developer wants to get his hands on that open space. I mean, it's one of the most valuable pieces of real estate in the mid-Atlantic area, not just in Baltimore City. And here it's been awarded to this this developer without any competition and without any analysis being done on what led to the decline of the Harbor Place in the first place.
And so you're not seeing apartments as somehow adding to major improvements that would bring people back in. So what would bring people more than what we already have? Because there are people down there already.
There are people down there already. And I really believe that the present situation with the Harbor Place is because of mismanagement, a lack of oversight on the part of the city, and a lack of investment on the part of the owners. They literally let it go into the ground. And now to turn around and say, well, in order to resurrect this, we have to tear it down and we have to include private residences in this public space. And I don't buy that story for 1 minute.
So if the story isn't panning out, then why do you think they're promoting that narrative?
Well, there's no question that Mr. Bramble is well connected politically. He's made a lot of donations to various city council members and in the administration. And I don't discount what he's done. He's put real money behind the purchase of the Harbor Place pavilions. But to turn around and say, in order to make this work, I now have to add 900 or 1,000 units, private condominium units. You know, there's a wholly different feeling that you get when you're in a public space. Now, we're sitting here on this promenade, which is a public space. If we were to walk right back here into the courtyard of this private building, we would have it's not public, it's private. And it has a feeling of being private and exclusive. And that's exactly what would happen with the development of these residential towers in the Inner Harbor.
Which we see playing out in Inner Harbor East. It's got a very exclusive feel.
It has a very exclusive feel. And, you know, I've stood up on Federal Hill and taken photos during beautiful days and even at night and looking at the skyline. All of the development that's taken place up till now has respected the boundary line and the setback that Light Street provides and Pratt Street provides. If I were the owner of the Hyatt Regency and these other buildings that have invested and are being told, oh, we're going to eliminate the height restriction and anybody can build as high as they want in this expanded footprint in front of our buildings when they invested at a time when there was no Harbor Place, I would just be outraged. I can't imagine what they're doing. And I believe it's going to detract from the value of those facilities as well.
So I've heard that referred to as extractive development, where instead of adding to the economy, it extracts from other economic engines that already exist.
And I believe that theory has validity. I think it's going to extract value from the existing commercial and residential buildings that are down there in that harbor area. But again, they've respected this setback that goes on the west side of Light Street and on the north side of Pratt Street.
So what do you think should happen? Like, if you were still on the city council and things were different, how would this look?
That's a great question. The first thing I would do is I'd insist on doing a really thorough analysis. Hire some independent people to do a thorough analysis on what led to the current decline of Harbor Place. And then the second thing I would do is if that analysis came back and said there do need to be some modifications or it does make sense to demolish it and start again, then we should have a competitive process. We should invite all sorts of developers to come in with proposals and ideas that we can evaluate. Not one and not exclusively.
So that's a unusual way of going about this. Do you see this as sort of like people call it a backdoor deal? Like, how would you describe the way that this happened, that one developer has the rights to the development at this point in the game?
I think the whole process has been an aberration. I think they're short-circuiting the public input. I think they're short-circuiting the ability to get a better deal for the city. There will be dozens and dozens of developers who, if given the opportunity to say, would you like to build high-rise private condominiums up on the waterfront in Baltimore City? I can see people coming from all over the world for that. And what are we doing? We've entered into a private agreement with one developer.
Well, thank you very much for your observations, especially considering your experience on our city council as well as residential real estate. It's very valuable insight.
Well, thank you. Thanks for your time and thanks for your interest in this.